the sound of the blues. You must be tuned to the 119th SongBike Guitar Q&A live stream here on YouTube, coming at you from the Connecticut River Valley. Hey, everybody, my name is Jonathan. I'm here for your guitar-related questions. I've taught guitar for a long time. I've learned a thing or two, and I like learning new stuff. So ask me a question. Don't be shy. This is your chance. We're going to be here for a little while tonight. So settle in, get your guitar, tune it up. Got some great things to show you, got some great things for us to play along with each other. Knock on wood, we're going to get to two things tonight, including the coolest instrumental ever and a sing-along song as well. What else do we have going on tonight? Well, we have a poll question. The poll question is there any place near you to hear live music? Some of you are spoiled. Maybe you live in a city and there's stuff right there. Some of you live on a mountaintop and you are the live music. That's it, you and the crickets, right? And a lot of us live kind of in between. Any place to hear live music where you're at? I'm curious. During tonight's show, we have my own dumb question of the week. It's a good one. It's good and dumb. I can't wait to start sharing with you what I am learning about the Grammy nominees this year. I got 3 great albums to talk to you about tonight. Albums that are nominated for Grammys, which will happen February 1st of 2026. But the Grammy Nominations, in my opinion, are a great way to learn about new music. There's so much good stuff out there. So I'm going to share a few of the ones that I found with you tonight. We're going to talk about the Replica guitar played by Jeremy Allen White in the new Springsteen movie. Where did that guitar come from? Wow, I thought you'd never ask. We're going to talk about that tonight. We're going to talk about the 12-bar blues. I want to make sure everybody knows what a 12-bar blues is, what it means, and it actually connects with one of our play-along songs tonight, so that's cool. I got a couple of cool teacher quotes of the week for you that I got out of a cool book. I thought I would share those with you. I want to go over target notes. We started talking about target notes last week. I just want to spend a couple minutes on it again because it's worth it, and I hope some of you played along with the play along track that I suggested from YouTube, and because we're going to review that this week as well. It's that important. We're going to do it 2 weeks in a row. So target notes. An Eric Clapton documentary coming out on the heels of a Jimmy Page documentary. I'm starting to wonder what is going on here. So I want to talk about that for a minute. What else? Hey, it's never too early to wish you happy Thanksgiving. For those of you here in the States or those of you U.S. citizens outside the U.S., Thanksgiving is coming up this Thursday. So I don't want to miss a chance to wish you guys happy Thanksgiving. I hope you have a great Thursday this Thursday. My son just arrived home from college. Woohoo! Good times in my house. So happy days. So those are a bunch of the things we're going to talk about. I'm going to tell you a little bit about who's coming through town. We've got 5 acts coming through my town in the next week or so. I can't wait to share them with you. If they're coming through my town, they're probably coming through your town. And I just might find time to do a little Christmas song demonstration. Those of you who are so inclined, now is the time to get yourself a copy of the Christmas Songbook, the complete Christmas Songbook. I should call it Volume 1 because I want to do a Volume 2. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today too, because now is the time, man. If you want to have a Christmas song to play on Christmas, now is the time to get started. Okay, enough jibber jabber from me. Let's get right into it. Let's talk about let's talk about something I didn't tease at just now, but I'm going to throw it your way anyways. Those of you who have children in your life might be aware of this, what do you call it, a phenomenon? Have any of you out there been hearing kids say 6'7", 6'7", and you have no idea what they're talking about? 6'7"? If you have no idea what they're talking about, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, that's okay. But I dare you to go up to a kid and just say 6'7" and see what they do. Nobody knows what it means. But that's not going to stop me from turning it into a teachable moment. A while back, I put something on the screen here during the live stream called the 6'7" trick. So let's take a minute and talk about the 6'7" trick. Why not? I don't know. All these kids are talking about 6/7. Let's you and I do some 6/7. Anybody remember this? The theme of this page is the effect you get as a guitar player when you add the 6th degree of a scale to whatever you're doing, or you add the 7th, to be official, to be proper, the flatted 7th degree of the scale to whatever you're doing. You get a certain effect, and it's guaranteed to be the same effect every time. You add the 6th degree of the scale to the thing you're doing, you get a certain effect that is always the same effect. To me, it's a rockabilly kind of sound. And if you add the flatted 7th degree, you get a bluesy effect, guaranteed. So take a look at the top of the page. I know it's pretty small. I'm going to zoom in, okay? Okay, there we go. So easy peasy. Some of you might recognize that top line as being 3 really common kind of easy shuffle patterns: the E shuffle, the A shuffle, and the D shuffle. By the way, they're separated with those 2 thin lines because they are 3 separate tasks. It's not necessarily a song that you play all the way across. Okay, so the E shuffle. What even is the E shuffle? And don't let me forget to tell you about the guitar I got tonight. How could I forget? We will talk about this guitar. Some of you might recognize it. It makes an appearance now and then here on the live stream. Okay, so that E shuffle at the top of the page, what's happening? We have an E power chord nicknamed E5. Why is it called E5? Because it's the note E plus the 5th degree of an E scale. When you change that 2 on the A string to a 4 on the A string, you are now adding the 6th degree of the E major scale. And it creates this effect, right? The 2-2-4-4. And when you add the 5, the 5th fret on the A string, you are adding the flatted 7th note of an E scale. And it gets that nice bluesy effect, which kind of resolves nicely. It does resolve nicely back to the 4, the 6th degree. You put it all together. So if you've heard that riff your whole life, what you've been hearing this whole time is the effect when you add the 6th scale degree and the flatted 7th scale degree to what you were previously doing. What were you previously doing? You're previously doing an E power chord. Okay, get the idea? So I'm calling this the 6/7 trick because why not, you know? Okay, second line. We're going to add the same notes, actually. We're going to add the, the 4th fret on the A string and the 5th fret on the A string, but we're going to change the context. Here's line 2. Line 2 again. I'm getting a little palm muted kind of effect on the strings. I'm doing down up picking. I'm giving it a swing kind of feeling. And again, to the extent that you've heard that riff in a variety of contexts your whole life, you've been hearing the sound of that note right there, the 6th degree of the E major scale and the flatted 7th degree of the E major scale. So get the idea? For some of you, what we are doing is putting some labels on something you already know how to do, you know? Okay, I'm going to scroll up. I'm skipping over line 3 and line 4 because in my mind, those are the same thing as the E blues bass line, right? Same thing. By the way, you might say, hey, I'm not a bass guitar player. I'm a guitar player. Yeah, but lots of times what you do is you join forces with the bass player and you play the same thing. It sounds dynamite. Okay, what I want to get to is this right here, a C major chord. See that right there? I'm going to scroll up a little bit more. That's it. Okay, a C major chord. Now, as written there, after you strum the C major chord, you just add 2nd fret of the G string, 3rd fret of the G string, back to the 2nd fret of the G string. Now, I wrote it that way to leave no room for doubt about musically what you're including. Now, you don't have to strum it that way, but I want you to hear those notes very clearly. That's the note A, by the way, and the note B flat at the 3rd fret. So I got my C major chord, I'm adding A, I'm adding B flat, I'm playing A again, and it gets this bluesy, rockabilly, whatever you want to call it. It's rock and roll, right? Come on now. Now, if you feel brave, you could maintain the C chord with your fretting hand and do whatever it takes to accommodate those extra notes. Your acoustic guitar players might get a kick out of this. Okay, so what am I doing all of a sudden? I'm essentially strumming the same group of strings, the 5 treble strings, or the 5, everything but the 6th fat string. But my second finger, my middle finger, is jumping over to the 3rd string, 2nd fret. And my pinky is taking care of the next note, the 3rd fret on the 3rd string. And I go back to my middle finger note. Is this making sense? It's the same thing that's written there. It's just that I'm not picking only the 3rd string. I'm picking multiple strings. And my index, in case it's not obvious, my index and ring finger are staying exactly where they are for the C chord. Yeah, RB says just move pinky and ring finger. You could do it that way too. Yeah, well, let's see. The middle finger is still the move to get to the 2nd fret, but you are correct that you could just move your ring finger over to grab the 3rd fret on the 3rd string. You could. But then you'd have to be a little careful not to strum the string you just abandoned, the 5th string. So I'm voting for the pinky. Because then you can kind of keep the structure, you know. But to your point, RB, yeah, there's multiple ways of doing this. Bottom line is we're getting an effect. The effect is, again, the cool sound when you add the 6th degree and the flatted 7th degree of the relevant major scale to whatever you're doing. And you can see we did it there with G and the F and the E and so on, you know. Okay, that's all. That's all. The 6-7 trick. Questions, comments? Now's the time to Scott Rose, I'm reading your comment about using slang with a teenage grandson. Yeah. I get it. The 6-7. Again, this is a lesson plan that we went over a couple of weeks ago. I think it would fit the category of the WTF, the weekly teaching feature, WTF, here on the live stream. And I thought I'd renew it just because I can't escape all these young people saying 6-7, 6-7. I don't even know what it means. But hey, since this lesson plan is called the 6-7 trick, I don't know. Try to turn everything into a teachable moment. Now, I'm 90% sure that the document you're looking at on the screen right there is available already for members of my website in the PDF section. I sure hope it is. I don't know why it wouldn't be, but I'm going to scroll back and find it because it could have been a little while ago. If it's not, I will upload it. Yeah, I don't see it. So I'm going to upload that to the, oh no, there it is. There it is. For those of you who are members of my website, it is document number 45 in the PDF category, 45. So you can find it quicker than I just did. Okay, there you go. As you guys know, many of the documents, almost all the documents that I put on the screen during these live streams are available for members of my website, www.song-bike.com. It's not very expensive at all, and you get access to lots and lots of stuff, including the PDFs that I put on the screen. Okay, you guys good with that? The 6-7 trick? There you go. Okay. I'm going to check it off my list. Check. Here we go. when we start off our live streams, I like to get right into something educational. You don't need me to tell you about my day. My day was fine. I taught a bunch of students today, and I had coffee and a cookie. Doesn't get any better than that. I had a peanut butter sandwich. There's my day right there. Okay, so hey, I want to say hello to a few people in the chat. Debbie is in the chat. RB, Scott Rhodes, Stephen is in the chat. Barry, Matt is in the chat. Hey, you guys, don't forget to vote in the poll. The poll question of the night: is there any place to hear live music near where you are? I hope there is, but I'm curious. You guys are spread out all over the world, and nothing like hearing live music, but it's not always easy, right? Okay, so we're going to get to one of our 2 play-along songs pretty soon, because since I hope to get to 2 of them, I want to spread them out a little bit. So make sure you got your guitar, get yourself tuned up. You do not need a capo for either one, but get that guitar handy. Okay, my own dumb question of the week. I ask it, so you don't have to. My own dumb question of the week. Which hand is more important for you to be improving and working on? Your picking hand or your fretting hand? It's a dumb question, my friends. Work on everything, right? Improve everything. But no, seriously, which hand is more important? Which hand is, what do you think? Is your picking hand more important to be working on, or is it your fretting hand? It's a dumb question. It's a tough question. What do you think? I'll let you know my opinion in a minute, but there you go. There's the dumb question of the week. Actually, my answer just might surprise you. My answer is going to be neither one. How's that for a little clickbait? Debbie says both. Yeah, Debbie, but if you had to pick one. Hey, Jeff, thank you for joining in from Milwaukee. Jeff, so you live in Milwaukee proper? So I bet, Jeff, you have live music right there in the city, right? Hopefully you have live music in a very accessible kind of way if you live in a city. So what do you think? Picking hand, fretting hand, which is more important? You could argue the fretting hand is more important, because it doesn't matter what your picking hand can do unless you're playing the right notes and playing them fast with confidence, then it doesn't matter. You could argue that your picking hand is more important, because music isn't music until it flows, right? Other than that, if music doesn't flow, it just sounds like you're practicing something, right? It's not music yet. People can't tap their foot to it. So, even an open string. I mean, that's music, right? My left hand's not even doing anything. My right hand is feeling pretty confident about that little funkiness. So clearly the picking hand must be the more important hand, right? It must be, Okay, let's see. Scott says the fretting hand is more important for beginners to work on. And Scott says also for intermediate players, it's the picking hand. John Roberts says picking hand is more important. RB says equally important. Yeah, but if you had to pick, remember, this is a dumb question. It's supposed to be a little bit frustrating, right? Debbie says the picking hand is more important. Barry says the picking. I think the picking hand. I should have made this the poll question of the night. Yeah. Barry says, I think the picking hand is more important. I heard a great guitar teacher strumming E major for 3 minutes. Great rhythm, and it sounded amazing. And he says, if I could do that with only 4 chords, I'd be a better guitarist. Yeah, it's true though. If you got 4 chords, I would vote for G, E minor, C, and D. 4 chords, capo, and then spend the rest of your life learning different strum patterns and finger picking patterns. I mean, you could have a lot of fun, those 4 chords, but you'd have to, pay your dues then with your strumming hand and learn a bunch of things. Okay, so Steven says the picking hand is the hand that's more important to work on. I can see both arguments. I mean, you can't play any songs unless your fretting hand has some capability, right? Okay, now I told you my answer might surprise you. My answer is neither one. It's more important than your right hand or your left hand. The thing that's going to ultimately make all the difference in your progress. What is it? It's 2 things. Any guesses? The 2 things. that are way more important than your right hand or your left hand. I would argue they're even more important than all 6 strings. What am I talking about? You got it. Your ears. Your ears are the most important thing. If you can't hear it, you can't play it. You know, the ears are the most important thing. Was that a trick question? I didn't mean it to be a trick question. But as I conceived of the dumb question and thought of how I would answer the dumb question, I thought, well, actually, no, man, without your ear connecting to what's going on. As a teacher, I observe this not every day, but once in a while, where I play something and something simple, and the student at the moment doesn't have the immediate ability to just replicate exactly what I just played. So let's say I played I'm just going to use a random example. That might be too easy, but a certain, let's talk about a strum pattern. Let's talk about, oh, wow. Yeah, okay. I'm going to grab my G major chord and go down, down, up, down. That's a tricky one because the downs and ups. Okay, bottom line is sometimes a student can put their fingers in the right place, but it takes them a while before they do the simple thing with the right rhythm. And I think, wow, I mean, it's pretty, it might be a pretty simple thing, but they're just not hearing it. And I see how the problem is not that their hands aren't capable, but their ear just is not hearing that rhythm. They're kind of tuning me out. Maybe they're focusing on the page but they're tuning out, you know, the example. They're tuning out the model, you know. So bottom line is your ears are way more involved in this process than you might imagine. Scott says, maybe the most important thing he says is the most important thing is not your ears or your hands. It's the guitar, having a guitar that makes you look groovy. And it's hard to argue with that. Okay, so there's my philosophical answer to a perfectly dumb question about which hand is more important. Your ears are more important than either hand. If your ears hear what you want to do, what you intend to do, you're far more likely to play it the way you want to play it. And if your ears aren't quite there yet, yeah, then you're not quite there yet. And if you're not sure if your ears are there yet, your ears are not there yet. If you're not sure, like, well, does this sound like this song? I'm not sure. That's okay. That's okay. But that's a sign that you probably aren't. You know, your brain, and look on the bright side, it means your brain is so focused on the motor skills, the mechanical skills, that it's not leaving any room for anything else. And that's not a crazy position to be in. It's not a bad position to be in. Because I mean, you want to be so focused on which finger, on which string is the down pick or an up pick. You want to be that focused. That's good. And then you want to graduate to the next level where your ear is listening. You know, I think of it as like an out of body experience where there's you playing the guitar and then there's you up there listening to you play the guitar. Conceiving of it that way helps me, you know, remember that there's a lot of different skills going on at the same time. Hey, since Scott brought up groovy guitars, what's the guitar of the week this week? This is my very first guitar. Yeah, back in 1985. I had just a little money saved up in the bank. I was just a teenager, and I really wanted to get a guitar. I was a perfectly adequate young drummer, but man, I wanted a guitar. And I really wanted to see if I could find a hollow body guitar. I thought that was about the coolest look in the world. And I found a music store in Boston that had one. Oh man, I could afford it. Holy cow, $250. Adjusted for inflation, because you know I like doing that. This guitar, they were asking $250. In today's dollars, that would be about $675, give or take, in that ballpark. With the original hard shell case. Okay, so tried out the guitar, but I mean, it felt cool, but I didn't know anything about it. Invited my buddy's friend to come in and really play it because he knew guitar. I mean, he could play the guitar. He said to me, Jonathan, if you don't buy this guitar, I'm going to buy it. I said, no, I'm going to buy it. So being a shrewd little kid, I offered them $225 for it, and they took it. So $225. Now, why is this guitar not worth $1 million? Whoever had it before me played it a lot, and replaced parts. So it's not, it would never be considered a collectible with replacement parts. It's what they often call player's grade, meaning a player would want this guitar. This is a Guild Starfire 3 from 1963, made in Hoboken, New Jersey. Still got the label in there. The person who played it before me, and I have a feeling they played it for the full 22 years before I bought it. They replaced the original pickups with Gibson mini humbuckers. They replaced the original tuning machines with Gibson tuning machines. I'm pretty sure they say Gibson on there. Maybe they don't, or maybe it wore off. They sanded the finish off the back of the neck. Can you see that? I know it might be a little bit tricky. One thing I know for sure is they played standing up, and who does that? A professional gigging musician. How do I know they played standing up? Can you see? You might not be able to do the belt buckle wear. I know it's a little bit hard in this light. Right there, the finish changes from the red kind of look to a slightly brownish look. I know it's not easy. That angle might be a little bit better right there. That's belt buckle wear, my friends. That is a performing musician playing standing up night after night with a big old belt buckle. So I have every reason to think that one and only one person played this guitar before me. Just because, you know, it was 22 years old when I got it, and the wear and tear and the replacement parts and everything, to me, that strikes me as one person playing it for 22 years. And I would love to find that person someday. I got it in a Boston music shop. Very cool guitar. It had a Bigsby whammy bar and bridge setup, and I still have it, but I wanted to simplify things a little bit. And so about 15 years ago, I had my local luthier take off the Bigsby and replace it with a trapeze tailpiece and a nice bridge right there. How does it sound? Great. I will never own another guitar cooler than this guitar. I love instruments, but I still think it's the coolest guitar. The Guild Starfire 3 from 1963. When Fender bought Guild a few years ago, they reissued the Starfire series. And I tried essentially a replica of this, and I don't know. It was okay. It was okay, but this is such a funky guitar. Having the finish stripped off the neck is a real game changer. That alone, a new guitar is never going to feel like that. Okay, so that is what you are looking at right here. Why now? Why this guitar? Just to keep things interesting. RB says, what do you prefer, John? A narrow or wide fretboard? Man, it's a good question. I'm okay with a narrow, like a Fender fretboard, but because I play a lot of acoustic guitar, I really like the neck to be relatively fat in the back, like a substantial neck. So as much as I like the feel of a Fender neck, I sure like the fat roundness of a Gibson style neck. But see, I don't love a Gibson Les Paul neck. So, you know, I don't know. Bottom line is, what is the bottom line? Can you have a narrow fretboard but a fat neck? Yeah, I suppose you could. I guess that would be my ideal. I certainly don't go looking for things with a wide fretboard, wide from floor to ceiling that way. I don't go looking for that. It's far more the feel of the back of the neck in my hand. And I definitely don't go looking for the thinnest possible feel. I like a little bit of meat back there on electric guitar. And again, it's largely because I play so much acoustic guitar that it's a little jarring to go to a super thin neck, and it's not something I look for, you know. So I don't know, those are some thoughts. How about if we get right to one of our play along songs? Let's do it right now. We have only once before have we done a guitar instrumental or any kind of instrumental, and that was way back on Livestream 57. Today we're up to 119. Livestream 57. Anyone remember what song we did? The guitar instrumental in Livestream 57? Well, put it in the chat if you remember what one. It's a fantastic guitar instrumental, and we're about to do another one. Don't go anywhere. I'm looking for this and this. One of the most famous instrumental songs in American history, especially if you step outside the realm of classical and jazz music. It doesn't get much more famous than this one. Okay. The song we did on Livestream 57, Rumble by Link Ray. And here it is, the second ever instrumental tune to ever happen on a SongBike Guitar Q&A Livestream. Green Onions, Steve Cropper, Booker T and the MGs. And, okay, there we go. I got 2 pages. And this song is not literally a guitar instrumental. The Booker T himself, Booker T Jones, essentially it's an organ, it's an electric organ instrumental, but the guitar has a solo, and the guitar does some very cool stuff. By the way, when we talk about 12-bar blues later in this live stream, we're going to use Green Onions. We're going to come back to Green Onions. We'll use Green Onions as an example because why not? You know? Okay, so Green Onions. Everybody knows this song. You might not know the name of the song. You might hear it and say, oh, it's that song. But many of you know Green Onions by Booker T and the MGs. I forget the year, could have been 63? Could have been. In the description of this live stream, I will include a link to Booker T and the MGs performing this song. I believe it was a Norwegian TV show. And I used that live performance to confirm what Steve Cropper is doing. Check it out. I had 2 sources just to confirm I really knew how to play the song. The Steve Cropper Soul Man guitar book from Warner Brothers Publications and the Instrumental Guitar Bible from Hal Leonard Publications. They did not agree with each other. Doesn't that make you crazy? How can makes me crazy. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to go to the source, man. And I found a video of Booker T doing it live in Norway, and there's Steve Cropper doing one of the ways that one of the books presents, and I thought that's it. That's all I need. I don't, so why would the other book get it wrong, or why would the other book think it is a different way? I have no idea. I don't know. Welcome to the world of art. Things are open for interpretation. Okay, so Green Onions. This is an example of your guitar line duplicating the bass line. I'm just going to repeat that first measure a bunch of times. Let's call that the F riff, because the first note you're playing, 1 on the E string, is the note F. The song's in the key of F, by the way. Okay, the palm muting with your picking hand is highly, highly recommended. Listen to the difference if I don't do the muting. I mean, it's okay, right? But yeah, you wanna be in control, especially those of you playing this on electric guitar. The down ups are super important. Again, I'm focusing on the very first measure, the first 5 notes. Down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down. Super important. That's how you get the groove going. This song is nothing but groove. Long story short, there's 1 upstroke in the riff, and it's illustrated right there. Remember what looks like a V symbol, that means an upstroke, right? What looks like a Bach symbol means a downstroke. Okay, bottom line is everything is a downstroke except that note. Let's call that the middle note of that grouping of 3. Down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down. Rookie mistakes that I see, and some of you are doing it right now. You do not need to keep your index finger pressing on the 6th string 1st fret when you reach up to the 1st string 4th fret. You don't. Not only do you not need to, you should not do it. Those of you who are already thinking of, oh, that's a really big stretch up to 4. Quit your belly aching. You let go of the 1, let go of it. You don't get any extra points for holding it down. By the way, even if you want to be a tough guy and hold it down and stretch, well, you just have to take that finger off the 6th string and move it to the 5th string 1st fret anyways. So you don't get, there's no advantage to that. And you might say, haha, but I'm going to bar both of the ones and that'll take care of that. Don't do it. You don't want that 6th string to continue to ring in any capacity, even accidentally. You want to get rid of that sound. So please let go of that 1st fret note on the 6th string known as the note F. Okay, so what you're looking at is the heart of the song. It's not the only thing the guitar does. It's absolutely the one thing you have to do if you're going to play along with Booker T and the MGs on this song. You are doubling the bass line. And like I said earlier, it's a very powerful sound when the guitar and the bass guitar do the same thing as each other. It sounds great. For some of you, you might not be accustomed to doing something that's not chords. And this is an example of rhythm guitar playing that does not involve a traditional chord, you know? Okay, the F riff happens 4 times, and then here comes the B flat riff. It's the same thing, drop down 1 string towards the floor. That only happens 2 times before you go back to the F. Now check it out. I just finished, in my mind, I just finished line 4. It's time to go to the C chord, but check it out. Logistically, I just finished line 4 with my index finger on the 1st fret of the 5th string. I'm about to go on to the C riff. My index finger is just going to lightly glide up to 3 on the same string. Whatever you do, don't lift your ring finger off. Don't use a different finger, index finger. Don't lift your index finger off. Don't use a different finger. Just glide up to 3 on the 5th string. You're already right there, right? Work smarter, not harder. Just glide up to the 3. 3, 3, 3, 6, 3. As you've probably figured out, your index finger is leading the way, right? Every box, every measure, every, I'm going to refer to them as chords, even though you're not playing chords, but every one of the chords, F, C, B flat, I should say every one of the riffs begins with your index finger. So your index finger needs to be super confident about jumping to either the F on the 6th string, the B flat on the 5th string, that's the 1st fret on the 5th string, or the C on the 5th string. Okay, so let's you and I play this whole page together. How about if we do it 2 times? The first time I'm going to call out the riff names, F, B flat, and C as we do it. Second time, I'm not going to. We're going to take it slowly. Maybe the second time through will go a little bit faster. We're not in a rush, right? Not in a rush. Please, please, please use your pinky for the 4s. Do it. Do it. And when you're on the C riff, use your pinky for the 6. Okay? It's the logical finger. And especially if your pinky feels like it can't do it, it can't rise to the occasion, then you definitely have to use the pinky. Okay? About this speed to start off. 1, 1, 1, 4, 1. Okay, let's play the whole thing 2 times through. Index finger, 6th string. A 1, 2, 3, 4. B flat now. B flat again. Back to F. Up to C. Back to B flat. Back to F. F again. Okay, beginning a little bit faster. Beginning. Okay, it actually makes for a cool exercise. It's a groove, right? It's a groove. What I observe in my students is that they can totally play the riff. It's the transitions that mess them up. And that's as it should be. You want to get to the point where your brain gets it. Your brain says, I got this, we can do it. And your brain's all optimistic. And then you get to the changes, and then you goof up. That's a good place to be. I call that's the finish line. That's the final step. Transitions are always the final step. So if your brain, if you get this and you can play it basically, but you just can't change fast enough, that's exactly where you want to be. Take heart. That's a good place to be. I forgot to mention line 3, when the B flat riff begins, you're already on the right note. How could I forget to mention that? The way line 2 ends, line 2 ends on the note B flat. So you're already on the right note for line 3. Okay with that? Okay, true S armor. That's a good question. True S armor, you might be looking at tab for the first time. Horizontal lines represent guitar strings. And the numbers represent where to press on any given string, you know. And the important thing to remember about tab, and don't yell at me for how counterintuitive this is, the 6 horizontal lines going across. The bottom line represents your fat string. It's the exact opposite of when you look at a guitar, where the top, the fat string is, you'd think would be the top line. Okay, so tab, you have to flip around the guitar in your mind. Okay, and one way to help remember that, for those of you who are kind of shaky on tab, this song is all about the 2 fat strings on the guitar, 2 or 3 fat strings on the guitar, right? So plant your hand on the fat strings and you'll be getting the sound you want. If you find yourself playing skinny strings because you've reversed how tab works, reverse it back again. I mean, again, don't yell at me. I did not invent this system. But yeah, bottom line is, of the 6 horizontal lines, the fat string is represented by the bottom of the 6, and the skinny string is represented by the top. And then the numbers tell you where to press on that particular string. Tab does not tell you which finger to use. Sometimes there's an overlap. For instance, in general, 99.9% of the time, anytime you play anything at the first fret, any string, you're going to use your first finger in general. And you're welcome to find me an exception to that, but it's a good rule. And it's extremely likely there'll be songs where you use your second finger on the second fret, third finger on the third fret, fourth finger on the fourth fret. And that's true of this song up until you get to the C chord, the C riff. But before that, yeah, first finger on the first fret notes, fourth finger, also known as the pinky, on the fourth fret notes. And the exception is when you shift your hand up the neck, and I highly recommend you do this for the C riff. Okay, now, this document you're looking at, don't fret, it's going to be available on my website. Okay, now here's the good stuff. Here's the inside baseball here. Okay, as you might know, the song starts off with Booker T on the organ, and there's no other instrument. Ba-dum-dum-dum, ba-dum-dum-dum, all organ, no drums, no bass, nothing else. And the band enters essentially after 4 measures. Okay, what does Steve Cropper start doing? He doesn't start mimicking the bass guitar. He starts off with these upstrokes, and these are super cool for so many reasons. Oh, by the way, those of you who are shopping for guitars and you're curious about a variety of guitars, a Telecaster. If you want to know what a Telecaster sounds like, click on the link that I'm going to put in the description of this live stream when we're all done. Steve Cropper playing a beautiful Telecaster live on stage. That's what a Telecaster sounds like. If you like it, get yourself a Telecaster. If you don't like it, hey, you just made your shopping that much easier. But it's just a great example of Steve Cropper getting what I think is a fantastic sound on a Telecaster guitar. Okay, so upstrokes. Ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. That's the sound we're going for. How do you get that sound? Okay, all upstrokes. That's why right in the subtitle of this, I wrote intro upstrokes. And that little letter V you see above the tab, that's a reminder. Upstrokes, all upstrokes. Why upstrokes? Number one, when you do an upstroke, the skinnier strings, the skinnier strings get more of your energy, right? And they're going to be just a little bit louder, as opposed to, now I know that's a little bit subtle. Upstroke, downstroke, upstroke, downstroke. Now I'm trying to make them sound different, you know, so there's a little bit of intention there as well. You definitely want to do upstrokes. Okay. So what I love about this, number one, is this is an example of how an electric guitar, especially a Telecaster, cuts right through the mix. It's not because he's playing especially loud. It's because it's a Telecaster, man. It sounds so good. The organ has that big, billowy, amorphous, groovy, bluesy jazz sound. And to me, these sharp little stabs, I call them stabs, these cut right through the mix. So don't take my word for it, though. Next time you listen to Green Onions by Booker T and the MGs, you'll hear the organ kick it off. I'm going to play this in a second. And you'll hear Steve Cropper's, those upstrokes, those stabbing kind of sounds cut right through the mix in a good way. See how I wrote 2, 3, 4? That's my way of helping out with the timing. Once Steve Cropper begins playing these, that 2, 3, 4, that little space, that amount of counting is going to happen between each one of these upstrokes. I just stopped writing it every time because you guys are smart. You know that it's there. I'm going to stop talking. I'm just going to play it. I'm using one finger. Please just use one finger. It's okay. Even though we're focused on the second, third, and fourth strings, it's totally okay for your, I would recommend index finger, to be touching the skinny first string. Don't even worry about that. We're just not going to play the skinny first string. Okay, so we got the organ intro. 2, 3, 4, ba-dum, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2. Here we go. 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, up to 8 now. 2, 3, 4, back to 3 now. 2, 3, 4, 2, up to 10. Back to 8 now. Back to 3 now. 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. And that's when Steve Cropper joins in with Duck Dun on the bass. Okay, irony of all ironies, the song that put Green Onions on the map, that Duck Dun surely played, you know, throughout the rest of his career. He wasn't the guy playing the bass on the original. He was fishing that day, and Louis Steinberg played the bass on the original Green Onions, but there's Duck Dun playing the tune the rest of his life. Kind of funny how that works. Oh, well, you know, oh, well. Green Onions was the B-side to Stack's single called Behave Yourself, which I think I might even have a copy of it. I mean, I do have a copy of it. I hope it's where I think it is. And some DJ flipped it over and people went nuts for Green Onions, and the rest is history. Okay, so these upstrokes that happen in introduction of the song, they happen on the upbeat. And that's one way to describe how these are very anticipatory, jumpy kind of sounds. 2, 3, 4. Bum, bum, bum. Hey, this is a perfect example of your ears are way more important than your hands. I have no doubt that all of you can play what's written on the paper there. You're going to need your ears to figure out the exact timing. And we're all different. Some of you are going to be at one end of the spectrum, some of you at the other end of the spectrum. Most of us are somewhere in between. But for sure, because of the timing of these upstrokes, because it's not on a downbeat, I'm trusting your ears to figure out exactly when those come in, you know. Fortunately, they're loud. But you're going to have to get in the groove, man. You're going to have to get in there. So it's a good test for your ears. Okay. Both of these pages that we're looking at, and we're going to move on in a second because I know we've spent a bit of time on these. Both these pages, I highly recommend memorizing these 2 pages. I mean, if you like this tune and you want to play it, just memorize them. It's worth it. You don't want to be looking back and forth. I don't say this about everything we do, But in this particular case, yeah, I just want to memorize it. Okay, you guys are good with that? All right, stop sharing. Sit tight, don't go anywhere, because I'm pretty sure I meant to grab the 45. Let me see if I have it handy. We shall see. Come on. Oh, man. I got it. I got it. Can I just tell you, I thanks for humoring me. This excites me to no end. The Stax Records 45. So there's the A side. Let's geek out, shall we? There's the A side, the song called Behave Yourself by Booker T and the SGs. I don't know why someone wrote MS right there. I have no idea. I don't even know how or where I got this. From Atlantic Records. Well, Stax was a subsidiary of Atlantic, I suppose. It was distributed by Atlantic. And on the B side, some disc jockey flipped it over and played Green Onions. And the rest, like I said, is history. And there's Louis Steinberg. I'm holding this up to the camera. For those of you who are listening, not watching, I'm so sorry. But if you look at the credits, it says Jones, that's Booker T. Jones, Cropper, Steve Cropper, Steinberg, and on drums, Al Jackson. Oh, when you got to watch the Green Onions clip that I'm going to include in this live stream when we're all done. I'll put it in the description. Al Jackson is just killing it on the drums. I mean, they're so tight. You got to see it. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Oh, and it's fun because they take some liberties. They don't try to play it exactly the recording. They take some liberties with it. Okay, thanks for letting me geek out with my Booker T 45 RPM record. All right, moving on. Hey, somebody asked me a question. I feel like I've been chatting so much. I'm going to wet my whistle. Drinking good old water tonight, like a real human being. Representing Empire Guitars tonight with my Empire Guitars t-shirt. Empire Guitars, Providence, Rhode Island. That's where I got that speaker behind me right over there. Trade in a bunch of stuff. If you got a bunch of stuff to trade in and you're driving through Providence, Rhode Island, stop at Empire Guitars. They gave me the t-shirt for free. That's okay. They did okay. I traded in so much stuff. They could afford it, but I appreciate it. Empire Guitars, Providence, Rhode Island, and you can find them online. Okay. Now we have another play along coming up in just a little bit, and that's going to be a sing along, play along. It's easy. It's so easy. So easy. Oh, it has G, E minor, C, and D. We talked about those 4 chords, and you don't even need a capo, you know. Okay, checking stuff off. Don't forget to vote in our poll. The poll question of the night. Is there any place to hear live music near where you are? I can't wait to share with you 3 terrific performers with 3 terrific recordings that are all nominated for Grammy Awards in no particular order. And by the way, we're going to do this a bunch of times between now and February 1st when the Grammy Awards are actually given. If any of you are disappointed in music you hear in our popular culture, this is the antidote, man. There's so much good music out there. For example, nominated for Best Roots Gospel Album, veteran performer's been around for many years. Candy Staten has a new album out called Back to My Roots. Very, very cool. In the description of this live stream, I'm going to include a YouTube video of her performing and also a link to a Wikipedia page all about Candy Staten. She's been around a long time, man, and she's nominated for a Grammy. And again, her album is called Back to My Roots, and it's nominated for Best Roots Gospel Album. Hey, if her name sounds familiar, I'll tell you where you might have. Don't go anywhere. She had a. Okay, I'm going to just share this Wikipedia page. If your screen goes dark for a moment, that's all right. It's going to be okay. It'll come back to you. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm sharing the Wikipedia page all about Candy Staten. Some of you might, like it says here in Wikipedia, you might have heard her covering Stand By Your Man, 1970 cover of Tammy Wynette's song "Stay By Your Man," but also "Young Hearts Run Free," disco chart topper. It says, born in Huntsville, Alabama. She's been around a long time and she's terrific. So what I don't know, and I don't know if she's been nominated for a Grammy before. Hold on, Wikipedia. I sure hope she has. Personal discography. I know I'm scrolling so fast. I apologize. I'm just looking to see if this is possibly her first Grammy nomination. Okay, see where my cursor is down here. They call her a quadruple Grammy nominee, but maybe she's never got a Grammy before. All right. So maybe this will be her year. I highly recommend you checking out her recording. And again, I'll put a link in the description of this live stream. Who else was nominated for a Grammy just recently? I'll tell you, in the category of Best Bluegrass Album, a couple of guys that go by the name Carter in Cleveland. I believe the album is also called Carter in Cleveland. Both fiddle players. And again, I'll put a link in the description of a YouTube video of them playing, and also Michael Cleveland's website. Some very cool bluegrass playing and some sweet stuff. You hear it and you think, yeah, I can see how that would get nominated for a Grammy. And that's a nomination in the Best Bluegrass Album category. And they're called Carter in Cleveland. And I'm pretty sure that's also the name of the album, Carter in Cleveland. And one more. This is near and dear to my heart. Another Grammy nomination that I was happy to see, and I can't wait to share with you, for Best Musical Theater Album, the Buena Vista Social Club. As you might know, the Buena Vista Social Club kind of took on a huge life of its own once it hit the United States, and now it's on Broadway. So the soundtrack to the Broadway show called the Buena Vista Social Club is nominated for Best Musical Theater Album. And the reason why I say it's near and dear to my heart is I remember, man, back in the 90s sometime, I should know, whenever that movie was making the circuits in the US, the documentary movie Wim Wenders documented Ry Cooder in Cuba with these fantastic Cuban musicians. I was living in Chicago and I just saw a plug for, hey, come to this artsy movie theater, is this Ry Cooder documentary movie? I thought, whoa, cool. And, it was so good, but it wasn't like it was obscure. It was like some Cuban musicians. I remember reporting to work at the guitar store the next day and saying, you guys, you got to go see this movie. It's so cool. These musicians are so hip and Ry Cooder is so great. And you got to see this movie. And before long, it was a whole thing. And people were talking about Buena Vista Social Club. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, that is okay. I'm going to put links in the description of this live stream. And that album is nominated for Best Musical Theater Album. So there you go. 3 of the many, many, many nominees that don't get all the attention, right, of the pop stars. And that's just how it goes. That's how it goes. But I'm here to shine a little bit of light on some of these folks who are so talented. And the music is just so good. So over the course of the next few months, right, December and January, we will we'll look into some of these fantastic performers and Grammy nominees. All right, there you go. And you might even start placing your bets on who's what. Chaz says it's excellent. The Buena Vista Social Club is excellent. You've seen it 3 times. Holy cow, man. Wow, that's awesome. 3 times. Chaz, I'm curious. Is it always the same cast, or is there, like, if you see it 3 times, you must have seen, someone had the night off and the understudy stepped up. I'm guessing, right? I'm guessing. But maybe you saw the exact same people every time. Very cool. Yeah, but tell us more. Tell us more. Oh, speaking of tell us more, I went to see the Bruce Springsteen movie, Deliver Me From Nowhere. Mrs. SongBike and I went to see it. I forgot to mention this. Same as the Bob Dylan movie. I liked it more than I thought I would. And I'm curious, have you guys seen this new Bruce Springsteen biopic called Deliver Me From Nowhere? And what do you think? Did you like it? What do you think about Jeremy Allen White, his guitar playing, his vocals? I'm not objective. I certainly don't feel objective. So I asked Mrs. Songbike if she thought it was a good movie just as a movie. And she, same as with the Bob Dylan movie, she said, yes, it's a good standalone movie. And that, helped educate me as to how normal people might see the movie. Because I'm thinking about everything. I'm thinking about, how Jeremy Allen White is playing the guitar. I'm thinking about, if it's staying true to every exact moment of Bruce Springsteen's career. I'm thinking about all this stuff instead of just enjoying the movie, although I did enjoy the movie. But if you have seen it, I'm curious. If you have some reason to not see it, I'm curious why. But let us know. I'm going to guess that it's not going to be in the theaters forever, right? In fact, where you live, depending where you live, it might have come and gone already, or depending on where you live, it might never have shown up where you live. Chaz says, of the 3 times you saw it on Broadway, 1 time there's a different guitar player. Yeah, I'm not surprised. A to Z Me says, not really into biopics. Yeah, I get it. It's tricky, man. It's tricky, especially when the artist is someone that you're really into, and maybe you've educated yourself, a lot about the person's music, about their life, a lot of stuff, and now you're going to see the Hollywood version of it, and it's smart to be skeptical. Barry James says, due to my own personal experience of professional musicians, I tend to think of all music biopics as fiction. Yeah, that's probably healthy. But I am curious if any of you have seen the movie, what you think. I think Jeremy Allen White did a perfectly good job. I thought his voice, he did a really good job singing Bruce Springsteen songs. I think I'm pretty sure I could tell it wasn't Bruce Springsteen himself, but he did a darn good job. Nothing to be, he did a great job. That's the pizza restaurant, taking out the trash. Anybody hear that? As you may know, my new location as of May 1st is right next to a great restaurant. If you guys ever come to visit me, go have a piece of pizza right there. So yeah, I had a thought. It'll come back to me. His voice sounded great. It wasn't Bruce Springsteen's, but only Bruce Springsteen's voice is Bruce Springsteen. His guitar playing was interesting. They certainly didn't do a lot of extensive close-ups on Jeremy Allen White's guitar playing. When the camera was on him playing the guitar, he did what he had to do, and no shame there. But they didn't put him on the spot and have extensive close-ups of his fingers moving, and that's okay. There's no reason to do that. So it was appropriate. But I geek out over that kind of stuff. One thing I noticed, and I'm probably reading way too much into this, but here's a kind of, just so you know what goes through my mind when I should just be eating my popcorn. There's one scene where he was doing some nice finger picking, which was probably exactly what Springsteen had done with his right hand. And the left hand was grabbing a D chord. And see, I'm holding a D chord right now. My fingers are kind of arched. I call that a rainbow shape. And it kind of looks like a normal person holding the guitar. Nothing particularly remarkable, right? What a beginner often finds themselves doing is a kind of a clench, and their palm is close to the guitar, and there's kind of this stiffness. So here's what I would consider to be like a pro play. And believe me, I get how geeky this is. I get it, but bear with me. 30 more seconds. Nice forearm, fingers curling over. There's a space between my palm and the neck of the guitar. And at this one particular scene, one of the few scenes where they did show a close-up of Jeremy Allen White playing, his D chord, his palm seemed to be especially close to the guitar. His fingers seemed kind of tensed and stressed out. Now, the sound was great. It sounded terrific. But I looked at his hand. I thought, yeah, that's how someone who's stressed out about that D chord right there. That's not someone who's done it for so many decades that their hand is relaxed. Interesting, isn't it? A sign of a experienced musician is how relaxed they can be when they play, and a less experienced musician is just stressed out. They're just grabbing on for dear life, So as I watched him, that's one thing I noticed. Like, you know, he's getting it done. He's getting it done. But it just looked like how someone who's less experienced would grab the chord and just hope it comes out okay, you know? Oh, well. Hey, Rick. Rick is joining in. Rick says a guitar shop called Castle Music just closed after 20 plus years. Oh, and that's where they filmed the Wayne's World scene with the white guitar. That's where they filmed that scene. That's tough. That's tough. True, you are making a good point. Jeremy Allen White is an actor. He's not a musician. Although I heard an interview where someone implied that he had played the guitar a little bit before the movie. He wasn't a total beginner. Hey, Barry, thank you for your super chat. I appreciate that. But don't take my word for it. I have no idea. Again, he did a great job in the movie. And that's the kind of thing that a guitar teacher would notice, you know, that nobody else cares about. Because the sound was great. He was doing a good job. True says, clenched is a good word for where I started to where I am now. Yeah, you know, something about what I envision, what I tell myself is that when you first start off on any physical activity, you throw all your muscles at it because you want to win. That's human, you know, that's what evolution has taught us. Defeat, you know, the thing that's attacking us, you know, overcome the obstacle, right? And it's understandable. Over time, this is what I hope is true, because I tell people this. Over time, you let go of unnecessary muscles and you only use the absolute most necessary muscles. And even those, you don't engage them quite as much. For example, you know, you don't have to squeeze the heck out of the guitar strings just to get a clear sound. You have to press just hard enough. So that helps me make sense of my own playing. Understand that I'm going to use too many muscles at first for whatever new thing I'm doing. Remind myself that I don't need all those muscles, and remind myself to be as relaxed as possible. Easier said than done, believe me. You know, every therapist would be out of business if that worked. Hey, man, just relax. Everything's going to be okay. You know, every therapist in the world would be out of business if it were that easy, right? Yeah. Steven says, geeky stuff is cool. Well, thanks. It's, yeah. And I had the same thing watching the same kind of experience watching Timothy Chalamet in the Bob Dylan movie. You know, just thinking about, you know, watching his hands. You know, I watch a lot of, I teach beginners, you know, largely. And so I'm used to how beginners hold themselves, both hands. And it's very familiar to me. All I do all day long is watch people's hands. And on Sunday, I rest. That's how it works. Okay. Hey, you guys, enough of me talking. Let's get into our second play-along song of the night. Why not? If not now, when? Our second play-along song of the night, here we go, is a song that I have been asked to teach by many, 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 many students. And just as many have, instead of asking me to teach them, they've said, oh, hey, by the way, over the weekend, I learned this song. And they don't need me because it's a pretty straightforward tune. What's the tune? Here it comes. There you go. From the band Pearl Jam, the song Last Kiss. Pearl Jam did not write this tune. It's a cover tune. Oh, you know what? I actually don't know who did the original. Somebody Google it and put it in the chat and educate me. And what year the original came out. Everybody know this tune, Last Kiss by Pearl Jam? They did not write this tune. Again, it's a cover tune, I'm guessing from the 60s. And I actually, I don't know. I usually try to figure out this stuff before a live stream. In this case, you guys will educate me. Who did the original version of this and what year did it come out? Actually, I don't know what year the Pearl Jam version came out. So somebody Google that too and put it in the chat. Okay, what's going on in this song? 4 chords, an equal amount of time on all 4 chords. And for once, actually it's more than once, but I am going to limit how much I talk about this song before we play it, because come on, man, there's not that much to say about what's going on with those chords. This is going to be 5 minutes or less before we're actually up and running, and hopefully even less. Okay, there's my timer. I put 5 minutes on the big board. Okay, in 5 minutes or less, we're going to be playing this song, I promise. Okay, what chords you need? G, E minor, C, D, in that order. You need G, E minor, C, D. I have no idea why at the top of the page I wrote a 4-finger G. You don't have to do a 4-finger G. Do G any way you want. I don't care, not for this song. Any way you want to do a G chord, do it. And if that 4-finger G is appealing to you, go for it. But it just does not matter in this particular case. I will say that however you do the G, one of your fingers is already going to be in the right place for the E minor. So when you switch from G to E minor, keep one of your fingers down because they share a note. They share that 5th string 2nd fret note called B. B as in Bravo. Okay, I'm done talking about the left hand. That's it. Okay, right hand. I highly recommend doing the strum pattern that I often call the folk strum. Sometimes I call it the calypso strum. What is it? Down, down, up, down, up. Many of you already know that strum. Many of you taught it to yourselves because it just it's one of those things that beginners find themselves doing and they recognize it sounds kind of cool. And then later they find that it's a thing, where someone tells them, oh, I call that the folk strum. So for some of you, you might not have done this strum before, or you might not have done it in the context of a song. We have to change chords and everything. I'll tell you 2 things. The hang up is the moment where there's an upstroke, a quiet space, and another upstroke. I'm going to illustrate this on the G chord. Down, down, up, down, up, right? There's that gap. Down, down, up, space, up, down, up. 2 upstrokes in a row. Guess what? There's a silent downstroke in between where you're strumming down, but you're missing the strings. Down, down, up, miss, up, down, up. If you struggle with doing this tonight, do not worry, but just know that it's incredibly important that you play it exactly as it's written on the screen. And you can come back to this moment in the video. We're at about 1 hour and 12 minutes into the video, and work on it. It is worth it. Down, down, up, down, up. Now we're down to 2 minutes and 15 seconds on the clock. I want to spend that time doing this strum with you. And if you're good at it, wet your whistle, take 5, take 2, and we'll be back in a minute. Okay, for those of you who are not super confident about this, let's do this, but just on the G chord. G chord only, over and over again. 2, 3, 4. Down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down. A couple other important pieces of information. Upstrokes usually are just on 2 or 3 of the treble strings. Do not make a big effort to strum lots of strings on the way up. That's not only is it not a helpful thing physically, but usually it's not what people are doing anyway. So it'll make you sound less like the real song. Other things, the last upstroke of every group before you change the next chord, very often the guitar player lets go of the chord and starts changing to the next chord. We're down to 1 minute, so that they're ready for the first strum on the new chord. The first strum on the new chord is way more important than the sound of that last upstroke on the previous chord. In slow motion, I'm going to go G to E minor. Slow motion, super slow motion. Down, down, up, down, open strings, but don't let your fingers fly away like I just did. E minor, down, down, up, down, open strings. Okay, and when I say open strings, it's an upstroke on the open strings. You are allowed to leave early. Not only are you allowed to leave early to get to the next chord, but very often that's exactly what the actual guitar player is doing. They just don't put a fine point on it. I'm here to put a fine point on it. Okay, questions, comments? I'm getting my lyrics ready. We're down to 10 seconds. Count with me. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Okay, got it. Questions, comments? The song is not super fast. You're going to do great. And again, if this is a little bit of a challenge for you, that's why we're doing it. That's good. I hope we got a bunch of people watching right now. I want it to be a little bit challenging for a couple of you. And for those of you who cruise through this easy peasy, well, then guess what? You just add another song to your repertoire, right? Like that. Where can my baby be? Lord took her away from me. Before you start any performance, my friends, get the song in your head. Don't just assume you're going to start singing the right note just because you did it an hour ago. No. In fact, just the opposite. Opposite. You always want to get the song in your head so you don't mess up during the live stream with people watching. Okay, I'm going to do the chords one time with no vocals, then vocals. I'll probably speed up a little bit as the song goes. I'm going to start off super slowly. I'll see you on the other side. 1, 2, slowly go. Where, oh, where can my baby be? Lord took her away from me. She's gone to heaven, so I've got to be good, so I can see my baby when I leave this world. We're out on a date in my daddy's car. I hadn't driven very far. There in the road, straight ahead, the car was stuck. The engine was dead. I couldn't stop, so I swerved to the right. I'll never forget the sound that night. The screaming tires, the busting glass, the painful scream that I heard last. Where, oh, where can my baby be? The Lord took her away from me. She's gone to heaven, so I've got to be good, so I can see my baby when I leave this world. When I woke up, the rain was pouring down. There were people standing all around. Something warm going through my eyes. Somehow I found my baby that night. I lifted her head, she looked at me and said, "Hold me, darling, just a little while." I held her close, I kissed her our last kiss. I found the love I knew I had missed. Well, now she's gone, oh, I hold her tight. I lost my love, my life that night. One more time. Where, oh, where can my baby be? The Lord took her away from me. Gone to heaven, so I got to be good, so I can see my baby when I leave this world. One more time, watch this. Where, oh, where can my baby be? The Lord took her away from me. Gone to heaven, so I got to be good, so I can leave my baby when I leave this world. Okay, so what I just do there, I change over to power chords, and I change the strumming. I didn't change the feel of the song. We still felt that da 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 da, that calypso feeling. Imagine you're playing this and someone else is strumming the exact down up. They're doing that thing. How cool for you to switch over to power chords. Well, Great alternative, right? Okay, so did anybody identify? Scott Rhodes says Wayne Cochran did it in 1961. Okay, and then J. Frank Wilson and the Cavaliers did it in 64. And a band called Wednesday did it in 1973, and Pearl Jam 1999. There we go. Hey, Dusty Dave, I see your question. We'll get to that in 1 minute. Jamie says, I added in a little slide up the neck from the E minor. Fun. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities for embellishing. It's 4 chords over and over again. If only to keep yourself entertained. There's stuff you can do in there. Hear how my voice wasn't the best key for my voice. In hindsight, if I was going to perform this for real, I would have capoed up, a couple frets, get it a little bit higher, get out of my low sound. This is the key that Pearl Jam did it in, though. So, hey, my goal is always for you guys to work on this and then crank up the original, play along with it, add it to the list of songs that you know. Okay. I want to talk about the music theory for 1 second. And don't forget, we're going to get back to Green Onions and talk about 12-bar blues, speaking of music theory. Okay, the music theory here. Take a wild guess what key we're in. I mean, the chords limit your choices, right? The key of the song is either going to be G or E minor or C or D. The key is named after one of the chords of the song, right? So an educated guess, and just a guess, but it's always good to guess the key is also the name of the first chord of the song. You'll be right more often than not, and you're definitely correct in this case. The song is in the key of G. How would you know that just from looking at the chord changes? You wouldn't know that intuitively, just magically, unless you've played other songs with these 4 chords and knew that those songs were in the key of G. So just familiarity, pattern recognition. In the key of G, the other chords you're likely to find are these chords. So my brain does 2 things. I see G as the first chord, so I think it's probably the key of G. And when I scan through the other chords of a song, they fit what I would expect to find in the key of G. So just another reason, another confirmation that we're in the key of G. Okay, the nickname for those chords, the G chord would be nicknamed the 1 chord, named after the first note of a G major scale. Remember, everything always goes back to the G major scales, right? Or to the major scale, the relevant major scale. If we're in the key of G, and we are, then the G major scale is the relevant scale. So the chord progression here would be described as 1, 6, 4, 5. The E minor is nicknamed the 6th chord because the note E is the 6th note of a G major scale. The note C is the 4th note of a G major scale, and the note D is the 5th note of a G major scale. Therefore, the chords are nicknamed the 1, 6, 4, 5. So you could easily describe the song and correctly describe the song as a 1, 6, 4, 5 chord progression. If you want to add a little more color, you could play a D7 chord instead of a D major chord. The difference, essentially, a D7 has, musically, it has 1 more note in it. Now you might say, but I don't add an extra finger. Don't worry. But musically, you are adding another note to a perfectly good D major chord when you make it a D7 chord. Adding that note creates musical tension. And that tension that you just created is best resolved by its partner chord, G. So playing a D7 instead of a D chord, add some nice color, create some nice tension, and don't worry, you're going to resolve that tension with the G chord. Every chord with a 7 in the name, B7, E7, A7, all those chords, they have a partner chord that they want to go to, or a partner chord that does the best possible job of resolving the tension created by the 7th chord. Okay, so D7 partners perfectly with a G major chord. You can even hear it out of context if I just strum a D7 chord and then a G chord. Here comes a G. Just sounds like it was inevitable, right? Okay, so just a little music theory behind the song, a 1, 6, 4, 5. And if you want to change one thing to make the song a little more interesting harmonically, it would be playing a D7 instead of a D. Remember, D is nicknamed the 5 chord. In general, you can always experiment anytime you come to the 5 chord in a song. you can always experiment with playing the 5 chord as a 7th chord, in this case D7 instead of D, and see how you like it. If you are researching the chords to a song and you see 2 different people's versions of it, right? It's extremely possible that if there's any discrepancy in how 2 people present a song, it's that one person presents the 5 chord as regular major chord and the other person presents it as a 7th chord. Or maybe they present it as, you play the 5 chord, the D major for a little bit, but then you change the D7 and then it goes back to the G. That's a very common thing. And there you go. Little music theory behind Last Kiss. All right. Okay. Beginner Guitar Lessons is in the chat. Beginner Guitar Lessons is our moderator. That's why his name is Blue. And he's encouraging you guys to hit the like button. Yeah. You know what a cool thing is? When the number of people watching equals the number of people who have liked the live stream. So why not? If you have not liked the live stream yet, go for it. Go for it. Okay. So there you go. 2 play-alongs in one live stream. These will be added to the list. If you would like a copy, I'm happy to email you a copy of the list of all the songs. And I think it's a lot. It's a lot of songs. It's over 100. All the songs that we have played here in our live streams, our play-along songs. That's a very easy list for me to email you. Just send me an email at info@song-bike.com. info@song-bike.com. And I will send you that PDF. It's no trouble whatsoever. The PDF says the name of the song, and then in parentheses, it says which number live stream had that particular song. So for instance, it'll say Last Kiss 119, Green Onions 119, and so on. Okay. Check. In case some of you missed it, I want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. It's coming. It's coming. I want to say hi to my mom. Hey, Mom. Thanks for watching. Check. Couple interesting teacher quotes. You guys remember last week, and actually even other times too, I mentioned a very cool book called Zen Guitar. And he said 2 things in the book Zen Guitar. Peretz, or I wish I remember the author's name. I'll grab it in a second. I'll give you the visual. I'll show you what the book looks like. But the book is called Zen Guitar. And he said 2 things that caught my attention. One had to do with soloing using a scale and unintentionally hitting a note that's outside of the scale. He said, essentially, I'm paraphrasing. He said, don't think of that unintentional note as a wrong note. Wrong is not the opposite of right. Ooh, wrong is not the opposite of right. Well, what does that mean? Well, say you're soloing with a pentatonic scale, a 5-tone scale, and you hit some note that's outside of the pentatonic scale, which is likely, right? We all make mistakes. There's a very strong likelihood that the note you hit that was not in the pentatonic scale is still a cool sounding note in the context of the song you're playing. So that's an example of something that is not wrong. It's just a note you didn't mean to hit that turns out to have some value, So I liked how he said that wrong is not the opposite of right. I tend to use the word unintentional. You didn't mean to hit that note, but now that you did it, let's talk about it. Let's listen and say, wait a minute, ooh, maybe that note sounded kind of cool. And that happens. That's something as a guitar teacher, I'll watch someone soloing, say with a pentatonic scale, and I'll see them hit a note they didn't mean to. And maybe I don't want to stop them at that moment because, with the heat of the moment, you're like, it's fun. We're having fun. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, ooh, that note sounded sweet, man. Oh, that was cool. And then if it's appropriate, then when we're all done, I might say, hey, by the way, I don't know if you noticed that one thing you did didn't sound bad. We'll have this conversation. So I liked how he said that wrong is not the opposite of right. And again, he was talking about specifically about improvising. Another thing he said that was so interesting, talking about when you're learning something and you make a mistake and you go back and you play it correctly and then you move on. He said, no. When you make a mistake on something, you don't play it correctly one time and then move on. You better play it 5 times, 10 times, multiple times correctly before you move on. And the way he put it, and again, I'm paraphrasing, You want to stack the odds in your favor. If you play it wrong once and then play it right once and move on, it's a 50-50 chance the next time you have to play it, it's 50-50. Are you going to play it right or wrong? 50-50, right? If you play it correctly 10 times, 20 times, that stacks the odds in your favor that the next time it comes around, you're going to play it correctly, right? I thought that's a cool way to put it. I mean, we all know practice makes perfect, but most of us, you mess up, you fix it, and you move on. I mean, so I liked how he said that. Okay, I'm going to stretch my legs. I'm going to grab that book again since I find myself talking about it, and it'd be a disservice not to mention the guy by name. Hold on, everybody. Okay, here we go. The book is called Zen and the Art of Guitar, A Path to Guitar Mastery. The author's name is Jeff Peretz, P-E-R-E-T-Z. Jeff is the common spelling of Jeff. Jeff Peretz, P-E-R-E-T-Z, from the Alfred Publishing Company, at least back in 2003. This was published in 2003. Cool book. Comes with a compact disc. Is also part of the National Guitar Workshop, umbrella of educational materials. Obviously, there's lots and lots of, guitar stuff, but there's some interesting philosophical stuff as well. So anyways, that's who I'm quoting here. Jeff Peretz, Zen and the Art of Guitar, A Path to Guitar Mastery. I sure hope it's still in print. If you're so inclined, somebody Google it and let us know. Dusty Dave, I'm going to get to your question now. True S. Arma asks, are you sitting on a drummer's throne? I am. Woo. Just curious. Yeah. And I do still play the drums. I do. Nowadays, when I play the drums, it's either part of a drum lesson. Hey, Chaz, thank you for your super chat. I really appreciate that. Or if my buddy and I are like doing some demo recording, I'll play the drums, just to as a demo to get a drum track on there. I love the drums so much. I have a beautiful set of drums. The Eames Drum Company, E-A-M-E-S, Eames Drums, just outside of Boston. Beautiful set of drums. Made of birch wood from Vermont. I'll leave it at that. Okay. Hey, Dusty Dave, thank you very much for waiting. Dusty Dave says, any thoughts on the best approach to recovery from a live mistake mid-performance? Part of me wants to acknowledge it in some way, but I wonder if I should disregard it afterwards. My instinct is move on. Don't even just move on. Don't even mention it. Don't even, I don't have confidence that I would come up with something clever or something adorable to say that would be better than just moving on. Now, if you can come up with something clever to say, then go for it. In fact, how cool would it be to have a library of clever sayings? If you, I don't know. I can't even think of an example. But obviously, there's a lot of mistakes we all can make. Forgetting lyrics. Playing something in the wrong key. How about putting the capo at the wrong fret? That's not a good thing for a variety of reasons. There's so many mistakes. My instinct is to just laugh it off, shrug it off. The audience knows it happened. Move on. But for heaven's sake, learn from that mistake. You guys can see that before I start the tune, if I have my wits about me, I'll hum it a little bit just to, get my voice and my brain and everything all connected, right? I do not trust myself to hit a chord and immediately sing the right note. Not in this kind of informal kind of circumstance, So yeah, whatever you do, try to learn from it. whatever the mistake happened to be. So the mistakes I've made publicly, let's see, I've done that multiple times. You know, the song starts and I haven't found the right note to begin the melody on. And so I just throw my voice at it and see what happens. And even if I'm successful sometimes, it's nothing to be proud of. You know, you want to get that note in your head well before the downbeat of the song, you know. Other things I've done wrong, putting the capo higher than I meant to put it on and making the song impossible for me to sing. You know, maybe the capo should have been at 2 and for some reason I put it at 5 because nerves. Like, what an idiot. Who does that? Debbie says Zen and the Art of the Guitar is still in print, about $20.99. Yep. This one is, back in the day, it was $19.95. Hey, Debbie, any chance the description of the book you're looking at, does it say if it comes with some sort of audio? Ideally, it's not a CD anymore. Ideally, it's some link to hear it online. So if you still have it in front of you, Debbie, I'm curious to see if the listing mentions any sort of audio like that. Other mistakes I've made, well, forgetting words, forgetting chords. I'm more likely to forget words than chords, maybe because the muscle memory for chords kicks in. Debbie says it comes with a CD still. Okay, all right. Well, you know, it could be, you know, they have leftover copies from 2003 and they have all those CDs there, maybe. I sure do like it when books come with a link to hear the music online, you know, because you can hear it on your phone anywhere. Other mistakes I've made, doing something too fast. Yeah, starting off a tune too fast can be really awkward. I've never started off a tune too slowly. At least that's never been a problem. You can always, you know, increase the tempo a little bit. But more than once I've started off a song fast enough, overly fast, too fast, that it becomes an issue. Not cool. I'm sure there's mistakes that I've yet to make, but those are, you know, pretty significant ones and tricky to recover from, you know. I will say this, if you are leading this song, then some mistakes they're easier to roll with. You know, if you sing the first verse and the chorus and the second verse and the chorus, and comes time for the third verse, but by mistake you start singing the second verse again, you know, that's something you can kind of roll with, you know. My point is, when you're in charge of the tune, there's a certain amount of freedom and flexibility that comes with that. If you have a whole bunch of people depending on you to get things exactly right, that can be tricky. There's some advantages to being, say, a solo performer than being, you know, a band leader with very specific arrangements of very specific tunes. That can be tricky. Then again, when you're playing with a band, you're not carrying everything on your shoulders. Nothing like that feeling where the drummer knows the tune and the drummer does a cool drum fill that, say, leads into the bridge. And you might have forgotten that the song is about to go to the bridge, but there's a drummer, boom, and like, oh, and all you need is that, it's a millisecond, right? All you need is that little signal that, oh, we're going to the bridge. And, you know, the drummer just saved you, you know? And that's how you know you got a good drummer, you know, when the drummer knows what's going on and they send those little signals. And sometimes the signal can be so subtle, but the musicians know it. And just letting everyone in the band know. And the drummer's not the only one, but when a drummer does it, I think it's cool. And also it's part of their job description. That little subtle thing that lets everybody know that we're all on the same page, right? We're all going to the verse. We're all going to the blah, blah, blah. We're all about to end the tune, right? That's a sign of a good musician, but definitely a sign of a good drummer. Barry James says, my own common mistake is speeding up or slowing down for the chorus. Interesting. Yeah. I can understand speeding up a tune just out of passion, right? You're getting excited about it. I get that for sure. Okay. December 13 is a Saturday. Good news and bad news. What do you want first? You want the good news or bad news? Good news. I got a gig Clay and I are performing again Saturday, December 13th. Bad news is no live stream, but good news, we're going to stream it, and I want to make the stream better than ever, meaning better camera angle, better sound quality, our virtual tip jar. You guys can tip us. Why not, man? If everybody, we've done this before, just in general, stream our gigs, and it gets a lot of views by my standards. And if everybody who viewed paid $1, it would be so much more than the bar is paying us. Like, oh my God, I don't know what we'd do. If everyone who viewed the live stream gig put $1 in the virtual tip jar, I would be speechless. Yeah, that would be the most lucrative gig ever in my life. by a factor of 10, I think. Anyway, so December 13th, you are invited. There'll be no live stream that Saturday, but we'll be doing a gig, I forget, 6 to 8, I think 6 to 8. And we're working up a bunch of original songs. Sometimes we announce this is an original song, sometimes we don't, so you got to keep your ears tuned in. But we're going to have at least a handful of original songs that we're going to be playing, and they're getting better. That's all you can ask, right? In this world, just to be a little bit better today than you were yesterday, right? So December 13th, that's what's going on. I want to let you guys know about that. We're going to talk about 12-bar blues in a minute. We're going to talk about target notes in a minute. Last week, we did the song called 6, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. That was our play along song. And how do we not get demonetized for that? I feel almost guilty. Great tune written by Wilson Pickett and Steve Cropper. And where's their publishing company cracking down on us? Come on, man. Everyone else cracks down on us. I feel kind of bad, man. But at the moment, our video from last week, our live stream, we were not asked to share our quote profits the way we usually are, the way we almost certainly will be asked tonight for Last Kiss, and probably for Green Onions too. So what was up with that? I don't know. Okay. Last week I mentioned a Jimmy Page documentary, a big epic 12-episode or 16-episode documentary about the life and times of Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin, directed by Jimmy Page. I said, you guys, wow, man, that's going to be epic. Netflix coming in 2026. Next thing I know, virtually the same exact thing about Eric Clapton. Fool me once, but no, maybe these are legit things, but I'm starting to think these are AI generated things that people are just putting out there. I'm starting to see things that are definitely AI generated in my social media feed. And so now I'm wondering, wait a minute, are these for real? So can anybody 100% confirm that 100% for sure there's definitely a Jimmy Page documentary coming out in 2026, and there's definitely some big Eric Clapton multi-episode documentary that is actually, quote, directed by Eric Clapton coming out in the near future? I'm starting to get skeptical. I hope it is. I don't mean to sound too skeptical, but I hope it is. But I don't know. Okay, couple quick things. Who's in town? Kingston Trio. Vonda Shepard. Some of you might remember her from Ally McBeal, doing music for Ally McBeal back in the day. Vonda Shepard. Will Evans, singer-songwriter Will Evans. Local favorites here in Connecticut, Christine Ullman and Rebel Montez. And making the rounds this holiday season, a show entitled Irish Christmas in America. All 5 of those acts, I will put their names in the description of this live stream with YouTube videos in case you're curious about what they are up to. I try to find YouTube videos that are relatively recent. So for instance, the Kingston Trio as they're performing in 2025, Kingston Trio, Vonda Shepard, Will Evans, Christine Ullman, and Rebel Montez, and Irish Christmas in America. That's who's in town. If they're coming through my town, they just might be coming through your town. I'm just checking stuff off. Okay. Grammy nominations. Did it. Don't forget to vote in the poll. The poll question. Is there any places to see live music around where you live? At the moment, 10% of you are saying nope. You live on a mountain, you're out in the woods, there's no live music. 45% of you say, yeah, there's a lot of places nearby. 38% of you say, well, yeah, I got to drive to hear it. And 8% is other. All right. So that's the poll. It's not too late to vote. We got a little time left. Okay. Let us, how about if we, I can't wait to talk about the Springsteen replica guitar. Let's do a little 12-bar blues. I'm going to try to keep this brief because you guys are smart, but also because I know it's getting late. It is extremely important to be comfortable with a concept, the musical concept of a 12-bar blues. And I'm putting Green Onions back on the screen. There we go. Green Onions is an example of a 12-bar blues song. In fact, it's a very strict 12-bar blues. No funny business. And blues music and blues-related music is full of funny business, but not Green Onions. Green Onions is a classic, super classic version of a 12-bar blues. If I do my job right in the next couple minutes, you will feel somewhat more comfortable with the whole concept of a 12-bar blues. Number one, why is it 12 and what are bars? A bar is a box of music. When music gets written down, it's written down in boxes, and the boxes are separated by thin vertical lines. So if you look at that page on the screen, you'll see 2 boxes, each labeled F. That's the first line. 2 more F boxes, 2 B flat boxes. Trust me, there's 12 boxes on the screen. So 12 bars, 12 measures, 12 boxes. That's what the word bar means. That's what the word 12. That's why it's 12. 12 bars of music, 12 boxes of music, 12 measures of music. There you go. Now, what's the significance? The significance is this is a formula that has been used and used and used. What do I mean by a formula? Think of your typical movie where there's a guy and a girl and there's romance, but then there's a bad guy or an obstacle or something that needs to be overcome. And surprise, surprise, they overcome it and they kiss at the end. Close the curtain. You and I have both paid a lot of money for many years watching that same movie. It's a formula, my friends, right? It's a formula. But you know what? It works. It works. So a 12-bar blues is a formula. That works, you know? So right away, I want you to think of it as a formula. More specifically, I want you to think of it as a chord progression. Even if you're not physically playing chords the way you are not playing chords in Green Onions, you're playing notes that reflect certain chords or that go along with certain chords, however you want to put it. So it's helpful to think of it as a chord progression, even if you're not physically strumming chords every second of the song. So that riff in the very beginning, what I'm calling the F riff, it goes a long way towards reflecting an F chord, even though it's not what you guys consider a conventional F chord. Okay, so 12-bar blues. The formula of a 12-bar blues. Whatever you do first, that's the key you're in. That's the rule. That's a 12-bar blues. So believe me, we're in the key of F in this song, right? Whatever you do first, you do it 3 more times. That's why the F riff happens a total of 4 times. It's the rule. It's the rule. Now, you blues police out there, I know I'm speaking in general terms as if it's absolutely true. I know. Turn off your sirens. Turn off your lights. Stop chasing me. I get it, blues police. Nevertheless, I'm going to persist. A 12-bar blues, the first thing you do it 3 more times for a total of 4 times. So the F riff happens 4 times. Now, whatever you just did 4 times, the 5th measure, the 5th bar, it has to be a very specific thing. It has to be a chord, a note, a riff, whatever, that reflects the 4th note from the relevant major scale. What's the relevant major scale? In this case, it's the F major scale. What's the 4th note of an F major scale? B flat. You might say, yeah, but this is blues. Why are we talking about major scales for a blues song? Should we be talking about blues scales? We could, but every explanation goes back to major scales. So I'm going to stick with major scales. Okay. By definition, the 5th bar, the 5th measure, and the 6th measure have to somehow reflect B flat, the note B flat, the chord B flat, something. It has to. It's a formula. It has to. There has to be a bad guy. in this romantic movie we're talking about, either a bad guy or some kind of obstacle or something, you know. Measures 1 through 4 are all the same, F. Measures 5 and 6 have to be B flat. They have to reflect the 4th degree of the scale. Measures 7 and 8 have to return back to the 1 chord, the 1 sound, in this case, F. Okay? We just covered measures 1 through 8, bars 1 through 8 of a 12-bar blues. We're on measure 9, the one that's marked C. Measure 9 has to reflect the 5th degree of the F major scale. What's the 5th degree of the F major scale? Say it with me. C. C as in Charlie, right? Has to. And Booker T and the MGs and Steve Cropper, they knew it. They didn't sit around and discuss what chord to go to right there. They knowingly decided to jam on a 12-bar blues, and Green Onions came out. That's measure 9. It has to reflect the 5th degree of an F major scale. Measure 10 has to reflect the 4th degree. And measures 11 and 12 have to go back to the 1 chord. Are there exceptions to this? Yes. For instance, some of you are saying, wait a minute, I thought the last measure was a cool turnaround measure where something special happens in the last measure. Yeah, I wish those guys did it. I wish Booker T and MGs did a cool turnaround in the last bar. They did not do that. That's okay. So what you see in front of you, I would argue, is the absolute most basic, bedrock, straightforward, no frills version of a 12-bar blues in the key of F that you're ever going to see. Okay? Questions, comments? What do you think? If I were you, I would consider getting a pencil and paper and write the number 1 4 times right in a line. 1, 1, 1, 1. That's like line 1. I know here it's divided up into 2 different lines, but the 1 chord, write it 4 times. 1, 1, 1, 1. Line 2, write 4, 4, 1, 1, reflecting the 4 chord, the 4 chord, and the 1 chord, 1 chord. And line 3, 5 to 4 to 1 to 1. Write that down and then stare at it. And stare at it. You're going to see lots of variations, but they're going to be exactly that. They're going to be variations on what you're seeing right there, 12-bar blues. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. But it's the 12-bar blues is so pervasive in our musical culture that you want to recognize it and recognize its most common variations as soon as possible. And I'm going to give you an oddball example. I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For by U2 fits this description. By the way, we did that song as a play along. That was play along song. I still haven't found episode 53. I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For by U2 from the 1980s is so extremely similar to 12-bar blues that many people around the world would hear that song and say, oh, U2 decided to write a song as a 12-bar blues. It doesn't exactly follow this format, but yeah, it basically does. And if you're curious, go to that live stream and check it out. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. But it sounds like I'm making a big deal about it. Yeah, I wouldn't do it if it weren't so ubiquitous, pervasive, unavoidable, including music that is not on the surface blues music, such as that song by U2 called I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For. You want to recognize the 12-bar blues pattern and its variations as soon as possible. It'll make your brain relax. And when your brain is relaxed, you can focus on other stuff, you know. Barry says, my favorite pro mistake is Procol Harum accidentally singing the missing verses of A Whiter Shade of Pale during a live performance. Interesting. No lack of mistakes. Was it Bruce Springsteen who was like, Cleveland, how's it going? But he was in Baltimore or some version of that. Yeah, what are you going to do? I'm sure from his point of view, that looked the exact same, you know, standing in front of 1 billion people screaming their brains out. I'm sure the cities all look the same. Yeah, everybody. In fact, the more you perform, the more mistakes you're going to perform. But again, try not to make the same mistake twice. Okay, now we're going to wrap up pretty soon. Check. Don't forget, Christmas is coming for those of you who celebrate Christmas, who want to play Christmas music, get this book. You can get it so fast. It's, a long story short, every song in the book, and there's 31 of them, they're written down 3 different ways. Whether you want to use it for Christmas caroling, simply picking out the nice, easy melody, or the fancy chord melody version. Every song in the book is written out 3 ways. How do you get the book? song-bike.com. It's a PDF that is delivered instantly to your email inbox. If you choose to, you can have a printer printed out. It's not cheap, my friends. $60. Hey, if you can find a way to do it for less, go for it. But this one I'm holding right here cost me $60 to print out because it's over 200 pages. And I want a good spiral binding. I want a nice like card stock for the cover. So Debbie says the Christmas book is awesome. Thanks, Debbie. But you can see why I don't print up 100 copies and then wait for people to buy them. It's not worth it. Plus, you don't want to wait for me to ship it to you. Just you pay for it. It's instantly emailed to you as a PDF, and then you can print it out or not. You can print out one song at a time or not. Okay. I was going to play an example from the book, but it's getting late, so we'll say that for next time. All right, my friends. I know I'm forgetting something, but we didn't get to the target notes. We'll get back to the target notes. I even had my little looper set up. Okay, we'll do that next time. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, last live stream we talked about lead guitar, target notes, YouTube, backing tracks. It's okay. There's never enough time for anything, for everything. That's all right. Okay, I'm doing my last check. We talked about Grammys. We talked about, okay, we didn't get to the Springsteen thing. I'll keep it short. If you're curious about what goes into a Hollywood movie about a rock star, I get that. Believe me, I was curious too. Well, there's a guy who had already made a replica of Bruce Springsteen's guitar. And I'm going to put this, I'm going to share this reverb page. There we go. Okay. There we go. Now, to me, the resolution doesn't look great right here, but this guy, last name Patillo, Dave Patillo, out of Asbury Park, New Jersey, shocker there. He has made a name for himself as a guy who can make replica guitars. That's a better shot right there. That is not Bruce Springsteen's guitar, but boy, does that look a lot like it. And if you got 11 grand, you could buy it and tell us, how close it is. Okay, I'm scrolling here. This is the world's most authentic Bruce Springsteen tribute Esquire, handmade by David Patillo and his late father, Dr. Philip Patillo. Okay, there we go. Dr. Patillo is the master luthier inventor who sold Bruce Springsteen his iconic 53 Esquire, and used all these years. You guys reading what I'm reading? I bet you are. This link will be in the description of this live stream. So these are the guys who made the replica that you see Jeremy Allen White playing in the movie. A nut made out of woolly mammoth. Holy moly. I have mixed feelings. The artistry that goes into doing this, I admire the artistry so much. I'm not sure if everyone watching the movie is quite, I know I'm kind of zipping kind of quickly through these pictures. I'm not sure if everyone watching the movie appreciates what the back of the guitar looked like. I'm pretty sure the back of the guitar didn't show up in the movie, but you know what? I have to admit, I don't remember. Anyways, for those of you who are stuck around to the end of the live stream, there's a little information for you. In the description of this live stream, you will see a couple of things, including this page I'm showing you right here from reverb.com, the website of Patillo Guitars, and an Instagram post regarding building the guitar for the movie. All shall be revealed. Okay, you guys. That was the final thing on my personal agenda. for tonight. Let's call it next Saturday, same time, same place. We're into the 29th of November. December 13th is specifically the one that we will have no live stream that Saturday night, but I hope you do tune in to Clay and I rocking out, playing a bunch of tunes, including a handful of original tunes that are not half bad. Maybe we'll reveal the name of our band. We have a name, I think. We have a name. We think we have a name. Maybe that would be the night to reveal the name of our band. So thank you for watching, everybody. I'm going to wish you happy Thanksgiving. I hope you have a great time. I hope you get a chance to play the guitar all week long. Do it for your mental health. Do it for all the best reasons. I will see you guys again next Saturday. I'm going to head home, see my son. My son's home from college. Woohoo! And I'm excited. Hope you guys have a great week. I'll see you next Saturday. Thanks for being here. Thank you for your super chat donations. Thank you for your questions. And I'm going to timestamp this and then head on home. All right, everybody. My weekend begins now. Take care.